When I was a kid, everything was magical for me. And of all the things, beauty, pure random beauty was the most magical. And I began to realize that they were synonyms, magic and beauty. And so I searched everywhere for the core of magic in everything. It was a remarkable scavenger hunt, very exciting. And it always brought me joy. Believing as I did in a world overflowing with beauty and magic, I challenged myself to find the intrinsic beauty in everything, even in the darkest scenarios. And that obsession led me to tales of witches who held power over destiny by casting spells. As I grew up, however, the connection and the excitement that it had brought me before changed because I began to lose my belief in magic and beauty. And so I was missing some of this sparkle that had been in my life as a child. So I knew that I had to reconnect with these instinctual responses of childhood and to rediscover some things in a more rational way. I learned that we have always used everything around us to amplify and communicate with our own subconscious wisdom. That mankind has found many ways to discover or divine their own destiny. In fact, there are two meanings for the word divine. One means related to God, and the other is to discover through insight or intuition. So discovery is divine. I came to an understanding that in times past, when witchcraft and shamanism were a reality to most, people believed that incantations and potions were a way to control their future. And these were called spells. And spells were a way of harnessing our own inherent power through initiative, focus, and faith. I may not be a witch, but I do believe in spells. And they are woven still through our daily lives. As I grew up, I tried to figure out what I wanted to be, and I found this world in the entertainment industry, and I became a casting director. So instead of casting spells, now I am casting for film and TV. And in my career, I have the remarkable opportunity to continue seeking for the beauty in the talents that surround me. They can bring me inspiration, and I can bring them roles where they can shine. So we have a synergy. Throughout my life, I have come to realize that we are all magnificent. But sometimes the power remains undiscovered. And so I find myself in the position of mining for beauty. Here's what I know. Whenever I discover this depth of character in someone else, it only reaffirms my belief that we are all wonderful and that we are all lovable. And this brings meaning to my life. So I would like to share with you some of the spells or processes that I use to mine for beauty in everyday life. And I do this in the hopes that some of these may resonate with you. In order to find the baseline of beauty that I'm constantly seeking for, first I have to engage. Engagement is simply connection. To connect, I try to look into somebody's eyes, and I try to ask questions that will create an authentic response in both of us. In human interaction, asking is so much more important than telling. Whenever someone shares with me a feeling or a thought that is truly connected to them, deeply connected to them, then I am connected to them too. And this sense of connection with another human being brings joy and beauty to my life. And then it brings energy. And when I'm energized, I become the director of my life and not just the viewer. But people in my profession are the easy part. What's harder is mining for beauty in daily situations that seem to defy beauty, and mining for joy, again, in situations that seem to defy that as well. You've all been to a government office to deal with some issue, and you come into the office and you run into this kind of grumpy official, and you know, oh, I'm in for an uphill climb. But rather than allow this to defeat me, I mine for beauty in their process. And I think, I admire you because you've been sitting here for 30 years asking the same questions day in and day out. And I could never do that. So I respect you and I relate to you. And if you feel that I feel that, then I know we have an easy communication. Another example of when I need to use a spell is when I meet somebody who's invested in opposition, somebody who might be a bully. But I know that their prejudice is only armor they wear, and it disconnects them. So I try to feel empathy. And I think, something went wrong in your life. Something must be very difficult for you. Something from your childhood, or maybe you're sad, or maybe you're lonely. And instead of being drawn into their experience, I try to find something relatable. If I know that I can find something true or vulnerable about this person that's standing in opposition to me, then they will no longer be controlling me with their aggression. And so I sit, and I listen, and I breathe, and then I give them what I have discovered that is beautiful about them. The word give is in the word forgiveness, and not by accident. This alchemy happens often, and when it happens, it's magic. And sometimes we can be overwhelmed. I can certainly be overwhelmed. For example, at a concert, I can lose my footing. I need to ground myself. Everybody is so much taller than me, and I can't see the stage. And I'm standing there, and I get really panicked, and I feel completely surrounded by all the tall people. And so I mine for beauty in the crowd. And I look into the eyes of the person next to me, and I look at the situations happening around me, and I smile, and I begin to ground myself. And instead of that experience, I shift from my focus, which was on panic, to being a part of this greater experience, which is that everybody is at this concert together enjoying themselves. And sometimes you have to say to yourself, don't worry if you can't see the band, just listen to the music. And then there's disappointment. Hard to mine for beauty in that. We all work towards goals because our society has programmed us to achieve more, to spend more, to look better. So many goals and so many expectations. it's no wonder that failure and disappointment are always stalking us at every corner. My spell for that, I remind myself that I need the movement that striving brings, and I relish it. And I encourage myself to relinquish attachment to the outcome, because it's all a part of this odyssey that we're on, and everything is enriching and relevant if we make it so. Yes, failure can always be a risk, but I promise you that the rewards of this journey of our odyssey, where everything fits in and it all becomes this great odyssey that we are going forward together in, that it's all worth it. So I hope I've been able to share a few insights that is mining for beauty that's all around us. And I hope that you can find some truths in it as well. Because as the poet Keats once said, beauty is truth, truth beauty. That's all you know on earth and all you need to know. Thank you.